Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We are from the first group. We will present about our paper that title Increase Service by Minimizing Maladministration Practice through E-Government. So I will introduce myself. My name is Alsabila Trikansa.
My name is Afan Gafar Fadilah.
My name is Asti Lestari.
My name is Ziko Setan Ahmad.
So here our presentation. Legislation 1945, Article 18A, Paragraph 2 strictly regulate about public service as the basic social right for the community. This legal foundation actually appears because there is a desire for the government to provide a good public service for the community. Building trust in public service is a demand for the community expectation. This has become the major pressure for not only the Indonesia but also the whole world to increase their quality in public service to be more effective. However, the public service and its implementation is still a big challenge for the government. Many obstacles are facing in conducting a good public service, and it comes not only from the public service provider's side but also the participation side, because there is still lack of active participation from the community in conducting a good public services. This is also proved by the international survey that are done that prove that Indonesia is still the worst in conducting their public service. In the execution of public service, still a lot of deviation happens, and some cases might lead to maladministration, corruption, collusion, and nepotism. Such deviation usually happens in the service delivery process, which is still conducting through direct contacts and paper-based system. Some people that are not responsible may take advantage from this by taking an extra fee outside the regulation, and for the recipient party, there might be chance happen that the recipient who are close relative to the servant, they take an advantage like deviation happen, and some cases may like maladministration, corruption, collusion, and nepotism. Such deviation usually happen in the service delivery process, which is still done in direct contact and paper-based system. Some parties that are not responsible may take an advantage from this system because they can take an extra fee outside the regulation, and for the recipient side, they may take an advantage from if they have a special relation with the servants, like the close relative that usually receive a special treatment from the public service, and this might lead to the discrimination in conducting a public service.
These are the definition of our paper. The first is definition of public service. Public service is in law number 25 year 2009 on public service. It is stipulated in article 1.1 that the public service are activities in the framework for fulfilling the needs of services in accordance with laws for citizens by goods, services, and administrative services organized by public service providers. Public services may be defined as any form of public services activities carried out by the government agencies, and it's the thing of public services must do. The first is improving the quality and productivity of government duties and function in the field of the public service, and the second is encouraging the effectiveness of system and service administration, and the last is encouraging the growth of creativity, innovative, and community of participation. The notion of maladministration as defined in the Cambridge Dictionary as lack of care, judgment of or honesty in the management of something, or can be interpreted as a lack of ignorance of or dishonesty in managing something. According to Hartono et al. 2003, in the investigation handbook for the Indonesian Ombudsman provides maladministration understanding in general is unusual behavior. disrespectful, and less concerned about the problems that befall a person caused by misuse of power. The most common forms of deeds that include maladministration are procrastination, abuse of authority, procedural deviation, neglect of legal obligation, non-transparency, discrimination, and unprofessional obscure information, arbitrary acts, legal uncertainty, and mismanagement. The development of information and communication technology, or ICT, has brought great influence, especially to government organizations. This development of information technology has forced government organizations to conduct massive transformation in order to always provide the best services to the community. In developed country, e-government is the result of the transformation of bureaucratic interaction mechanism with people who become more friendly. Many policy makers believe that a clean, authoritative, and transparent government can be realized through e-government. Based on Presidential Instruction Number 3 of 2003 on National Policy and Strategy of E-Government Development, there are 6 strategies to prepare e-government. The first is develop a reliable service system. Based on Presidential Instruction Number 3 of 2003 on National Policy and Strategy of E-Government Development, there are 6 strategies to prepare e-government. The first is develop a reliable service system, reliable and affordable community. The second is arranging system and work process of government and government autonomously holistically. And the third is utilizing information and communication technology optimally. And the fourth is developing telecommunication and information technology. And the fifth is developing good human research capacity. And the last is conducting systematic development through realistic and measurable basis. There are some behavior that indicate government apparatus for doing maladministration. The first is dishonesty. Dishonesty action include using public goods for personal gain and receiving money and etc. The second is unethical behavior. This unethical act is an act that may not be legally in a sense, but violates the ethics as administrator. The third is disregarding the law. The act of ignoring the law includes the act of undermining the law for its own sake. And the fourth is favorism in interpreting laws. Interpreting laws for the benefit of groups and tend to choose the application of laws that benefit the group. And the fifth is unfair treatment of employees. This action tend to the treatment of leadership to subordinates based on factors like and dislike. And the sixth is gross inefficiency, is the tendency of public instruction to waste state finances. And the seventh is closing mistakes, tendency to cover his mistakes, his instinct errors, and refuse to cover his mistakes. And the last is fail to show initiative, inclination not to take the initiative but the wait for orders from above, even though legally enable him to act or take policy initiative.
So the conclusion of our paper is that the direct contact in public service delivery is provide the great opportunity for maladministration practice. Therefore, an effort is needed to minimize or even to eliminate the maladministration practice itself by utilizing the information and communication technology in e-government. If the public service delivery using the e-government system, then the direct contact between service provider and service user is not necessary anymore, then the maladministration practice can be minimized. And the regulation of e-government itself already regulate in Presidential Instruction Number 3 2003 that the concept of e-government itself is to provide how to provide the service through the electronic, such as by the internet, mobile phone or computer, and also multimedia. Or in a simple way, we call it as a e-service. And to provide the quality of public service that meet the good governance principle is not easy. An effort should be made by the government to achieve this objective. Moreover, the fund allocation for e-government is not small, especially for the provision and the maintenance of the internet or the website, and also the provision of the reliable human resource to support the successful implementation of e-government itself. Because of that, the government should have a strong commitment to develop the e-government. If the government doesn't have a strong commitment to develop the e-government, then the development itself for the e-government will be very slow in Indonesia. And the maladministration practice will be continuing occur, and which will cause the public service delivery is not running properly.
Okay, condition and solution. E-government as a solution to avoid the maladministration in Indonesia, because with a high technology we can keep the e-government as a solution to make the government is clear. So besides to avoid maladministration, the practice in public service, the service have some another benefits are the followers. What a benefit? First, the benefit is accelerate the process, delivery to service and the public service. Two, accelerate the process of delivery to the community. Third is the information profit will be more, because all the people can access the information, because the base of the technology is e-government. So, and the next is empower community through to distribute the information, transparency in decision making. And the last is availability of database, district or critic to up to date. So e-government make the government. And from the above description, briefly, goals to be achieved by the implementation of government is to create online customer not in line. The government aims to provide online service customer and without the intervention of employees of public institution and system of codes, just to be a simple system. The use technology that facilitate the public just to access information, reduce corruption by increasing transparency and accountability of public institutions. So this is the solution and the condition in Indonesia. The e-government just in a few local government implemented, not in all government in Indonesia. So we just campaign this system. We just support this system to make Indonesia to be a clear government.
That's all our presentation. Thank you for watching.
Minal aidin wal faizin, mohon maaf lahir dan batin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.